Alright guys, back in the video, and this time we're going to be going over my recent second place finish cooler list. Post set 15, obviously. This is after Nationals. This is this was a test run. It's very similar to one of my older builds, and I just took what I know about the deck and what I know about the format and tried to adjust it to make it where it works for the format. And yeah, if you don't know what a cooler does, attack leader, draw a card, has attack leader, or won't draw a card. Whenever the power of one of your opponent's battle cards gets decreased, you get to draw a card if it's your opponent's turn, and they mill one for each instance. So that auto to draw cards only once per turn. Awaken at 4 or less life, draw one, untap one, flip over to this side, attack anything, draw a card this time, and then has the same effect to make your opponent take a card off the top of the deck each time one of their battle cards is decreased, and you draw a card if it's turn either player's turn. So you draw one on your turn for attack, then you minus something on your turn, draw a card, and then on their turn you can draw a card by minusing. It's really powerful. There are some downfalls to this deck, and I'll go to over that just so you keep them in mind. So to start the list, we got 4 of your check land. Really important, other than the fact that it's just you need a red-blue charge that and after that red blue charge you need a second red blue charge, so it is important to see this card. If you see one in your opening hand, most likely you're going to keep it. To the other important cards, you have 4 Beerus super combo. These are super important for the deck. Without these, your deck doesn't really function properly. It also allows you to play defense and allows you to rival your cards that make your opponent deck out. And so this is not a only deck out strategy, so if you don't like that type of thing, keep that in mind. You can win by aggression, and a lot of times you do win by aggression. For Majin Buu and Hercule, this card, minus 10 one of your opponent's battle card on play, rival for 1 blue, which is important to note. That's why you really need a second blue source, so that you can actually do this and bean. Without the second blue source, this card becomes a lot less useful unless you have higher life total. And at the end of the turn, after you do your draw one, minus 10 something, and then you draw for your leader's effect, and your opponent mills a card, you get to bounce 1 red-blue card that's not him back to your hand if you want to. Next up, we have the bad boy himself. If you haven't noticed, there are a lot of cool texture foils that are available for this deck, which is awesome. But besides the point, you got 4 of Cooler, Tyrannical Assault. This card's been reprinted to death at this point, and it's getting reprinted in Mythic Boosters. So shout out to all the people that want this card and they haven't had it yet. It's not been too expensive for the SR, but when he's played, your opponent mills 1, and then you hit 2 cards minus 10, ignoring barrier. And for each card you hit, you're gonna mill 1. So, and then if it's the first time you did it, you get to draw a card, which is really important. He also has double strike, so this is your form of aggression, or one form that is. 2 of Winter Stamp Cooler. Yeah, I had to get these from Nats. The only reason why I had really cracked those packs because I really wanted to put these in my deck. 2 copies is perfect. You don't need more. This causes it costs 3 to rival. 3 causes steep for this type of deck, other than Unison, because you have ways to back it up. But at the end of when this card's played and attacks, your opponent mills 1 off the top of their deck, and you get the minus 25 a battle card. So this will trigger basically mill 4 if you get both of its effects, and if you don't, leave it on board at the end of the turn. You can bounce it out of your hand and restand a blue-red energy, which is really nice. So your small engine, you got your 4 copies of Frieza Death's Embrace, and you got Combo Attack Cooler. These guys can bounce back any Frieza Clan out of your hand and play from your hand for 1 blue. That's one reason why you also need more than 1 blue source, so this card becomes viable. When he attacks, you get to play a combo with a blue-red card from drop area, and it basically comes to 25k for 1 energy, and it helps you rival in your Cooler Suffocating Tyranny. So this is basically how you play the card, unless you want to do it on your opponent's turn. But basically, he's better to play. You can play him really defensively and kill something 25k, which is really nice. But other than that, he's played aggressively because he's 25k, and he essentially costs 2 after the restand 1 energy, and he goes back to your hand. 4 Death Embrace. This is a cantrip draws you a card, and then you get to pay 1 red, minus 10 your opponent's leader or battle card, and it's not once per turn. So this can trigger your leader's effect and make you mill, and if it's your opponent's turn on the front side, draw a card. It's a really good card. So you really want to charge mono red in this deck, or you don't charge any like regular blue cards. That's why the blue count is pretty low, other than the check lands and that's the way you want to really charge out the turn 1. But so because your unisons cost all red. So we got 4 Jiren. This guy is basically made for this deck. He's really good in general, but when your opponent plays something during the player's turn, you get to I can choose that card and minus 10 it. So you'll trigger your leader to mill, and then you have the +1 to gain double strike, and then you have the -3 activate battle, and you get to ignore barrier, minus 25k something. Super strong. And this paired up with your counter play and your counter attacks for free, like energy wise, they help you really play defense, stay afloat. And yeah, he's basically the way you deck people out. Because without this, the deck out part is a lot harder. And then Gohanks is your secret rare. This is not really replaceable in my opinion. You do have other options to play like Spring Kai Time, Pan. You could play the red-blue free combo from set 15, but this one is basically made for the deck. Minus 25k, everything on board, ignore barrier, dual attack blocker, and it keeps your counters alive. And then if you're on attacks with a battle card, you add 1 marker to them and minus 25 it. Super good. And your opponent mills for each one instance of all these negging. And then if you pay 5 for them, you can -4 activate main. This card gains 15k, so it becomes 40k, triple strike, and he already has dual attack. And at the end of turn, he restands to active mode, so he becomes a blocker again. But the card is really strong. A lot of times you do play it on 4 just because it's really hard for your opponents to out it. For Videl, this card was super good when I actually drew it. I did have problems drawing it sometimes, and so I might include some other copies of counterplays so that you have a little better chance of, like, I don't know, seeing a counterplay of some sort. So we'll talk about some choices that I'm looking into in a moment. But this guy, this card, Videl, Encountering a Danger. Counterplay, if you have a unison 3 or more, you can play this card for free without energy cost. And then it has Spirit Boost 1. If your leader card's red or Heroine card, you get to minus 20k 2 of your opponent's battle cards. So it's better than Yamcha because this is an auto. So it gets around Deflect and triggers your leader's ability to draw a card. Super strong. 1 King Piccolo for the Unison-based battle cards. I did play this in an older build, and then I really realized that Unison removal and marker removal is super important for the format, especially with Soul Striker, and this can help you kill Broly Unison. But that matchup is really abysmal, so this is really just an extra way of like pushing to remove markers, or trying to like clear board, or trying to push for damage whenever you really know you need to kill your opponent sometime soon. You got 3 Wolfang Fists. I never liked 4 in this deck, but tempted to go back to 4 copies. This card basically plays for free, minus 15 your opponent's battle card or leader, ignoring barrier. So this helps you clear more things through Jiren minus 10. So this will kill this in combination with Jiren will kill a 25k threat if they played it that turn. And this plus, like, if you Videl something, usually they're not going to swing with it. So Videl plus Jiren effect will kill most things. So this card is useful, but it doesn't draw you a card, and drawing card that's what you really need to pay attention to. For your last extra card, you got 3 testing the opposition. This card was super powerful. Whenever you do play like on a unison on 3 instead of 2, like in the other builds, you will have 5 life a lot of time. So sometimes 2, sometimes you're at 6, and it is kind of a pain. But if you wait a turn to play Jiren, like you played on 4, usually you're at 5 life because they'd want to stall you and leave you at 5 and try to kill you whenever they feel like they can. And then you just test in opposition. Put a blocker when they swing at your Jiren because they're going to try to like kill him, because they know if they don't kill him, the game's going to be a lot easier for me. So this puts a blocker to protect Jiren as well, and it's really good past 4 life too whenever you're trying to stay alive. 1 copy of We Are Universe 7. This card was kind of like a necessary addition due to the fact there's no Universe 7 engine in this variant because you're playing a 3-cost Unison. So this card can add beers from drop area or deck to hand. A lot of times you just grab back from your drop. If you haven't seen it at all, you grab from deck, obviously. It's really what it is. It's just a 5th copy of your super combo because your deck doesn't really function properly without super combo in hand. And if you don't mind paying 1 for it on your turn, just so that you can grab it back because it restands the energy anyways. The cards at the bottom are like cards I gotta mention, just as a FYI if you're watching and wanting to know what they are. 4 Bean. This is where we come into the staples. This card is just super good in this deck, and it's just super good in general. Good for pressure, good for like playing more arrivals mainly, and just defense. 4 Ape. This card is just necessary for this deck, and especially the way it plays now. You don't play any red, blue, like red, yellow arrival in this list specifically, but mainly this is for keeping your cards up in hand and a good turn to play. If your opponent swings at you and you know it's kind of an aggressive match, or like a match where you don't mind going a long game, you combo this out on their first swing and then you draw 2, sort of like how Soul Striker plays, because you don't have a better turn to play other than drawing 2 cards and then drawing with your leader, because you really need to see your blue-red super combo, because without it, you're in a bad position. So this is just basically the way you want to help you find your super combos when you're not playing the U7 engine, along with We Are Universe 7. 2 Oceanus, not 4, not 3. I really think 2 of this is fine. You don't resolve it as much as you would think, and it's really just there for late game because a lot of times they're just starting to stall you out because they know if once you flip over, you can start attacking other things other than their leader at 10k, and they basically don't have to worry about playing defense. So basically, they just keep generating card advantage by keeping your leader on his front side, and that's just how people play against you. So 2 copies is fine. Oceanus is really good though. They mill 4 for every attack after it comes out for that turn, and a lot of times it just skips their turn. Cyberman token. And the side deck, if you want to know, I got 1 Kaioken, 1 Raditz. Most definitely bumping this card up 1 copy. Most probably going to put 1 more copy of this potentially. It doesn't come up that often, but it's mainly there for killing Slug. But I think the other cards I'm going to include in my future list are going to make the deck a little better against that engine anyway, so probably won't even really need this. 1 Valorant. I only have 1 currently because I kept selling them. I had like 6, I sold 5 of them, but yeah, this card's really good whenever they Kotsukai you. I don't play it in the main deck because not a lot of people main deck Kotsukai, especially in my local area. 3 Topo. I don't think that I'm going to play this card anymore going forward, unless a new aggro deck comes into play that, like, where this card actually helps a lot. You can put, I guess I'd keep it in if I expect a lot of Gogeta Zeno in my area. That's really what it's for. 2 Death Ball. This card's nice. And I mainly put it there for matchups like that people really want to go tall against you. And this just helps you survive against those. Pretty good card. And 3 Dabur. I'm probably going to go up to 4 copies on the side because it's kind of necessary against Cell Surge. That's why my only loss. And then I played 2 more anti-hand destruction in the form of 2 Bardic the Illuminator. And my other 2 side deck cards were the Toa card, the 1-drop counterplay, but that's just going to come out because it doesn't make sense for the way the deck plays, because it puts a card back on their deck. It did prove its helpfulness, but I don't think I need it anymore. So we're going to talk about the cards that are options, based off other options that I've seen. So we got 3 of this Android guy. I'm not sure if I want to put it in the side or main, but it's really good as a blocker. But like, the reason why you don't play it in this version is because Jiren is the main pivot, and this basically would replace your Jiren turn, and that's really not what you want to do. But it's not really that bad because if you play this on 3 and then Jiren on 4, it's really hard for them to get through. So because he can intercept the attack on that's being thrown at Jiren, which is nice. And if they try to go over this, you can -3 Jiren and then kill it. So it's really, or you just arrival after the swing. So I'm thinking that this is not bad. I might try it out. I haven't used it yet. Like I said, playing at least 1 more copy of this, and then I'm gonna have to find a way to fit this in. I used to play this in the OG builds. This is just really good right now. There are so many cantrips that are being played right now, like the 1-drop draw cards, that this card just becomes really good. And also, it helps you kill Black Mask saying on the turn that they play it, so that your Dabura is live. So at worst, this is going my side along with the copies of Dabura, so that whenever I do play against Cell Surge, I can, when they do that, I go, okay, kill your This also kills Rosie and draws you a card, which is really nice. So I'm thinking I really should just probably main deck this card. And then 2 more Bardic Eliminator. This card is just going to replace the other 2 side deck cards that I had in here. So at worst, side these in. You could go to where you don't play the Unison cards, and I've seen Eric's video. You play like 4 copies. You basically play all these cards that I'm showing you right now, other than, well, you could technically just main deck this to be hateful at locals, but basically you main deck these and replace the engine for, and you increase the copies of this. You basically just remove the copies of Unison related cards. But yeah, I think the Unison related cards are really good, and they're the way going forward. But these are something I do want to try out in the main deck. But thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned for more content. We're going to go live every Saturday that I'm at locals. You just pay attention to the Facebook group and to my post on YouTube, and you'll be able to get that. Make sure to smash the like button and leave comments below, and hit the notification button if you haven't already. Thank you guys once again. Deuces.